Mr. Ernst.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And first, I want to express my condolences as well to the families of the four fallen, and as they begin their dignified transfer process, our hearts are with those, their family members, as well as the entire Third ID family. So General Cavoli, thank you for your respects to those family members. Let's just start and talk a little bit about leadership, because it has been brought up many times over. The situation that I believe is being contemplated between SACEUR and European Command. And you have expressed that you believe it is important to have American leadership in those positions. Is that true, General Cavoli?
Ma'am, that of course would be a policy decision. I merely laid out the advantages and disadvantages of it from a military perspective.
Thank you.
From a military perspective, problematic.
Thank you. I do believe it is important, and I'll paraphrase a little bit, but the Army definition of a leader is someone who inspires others to follow towards a common goal or objective for the good of the unit or the organization. And I would say, again, this is just me speaking, Senator Ernst, but I do think it is very important that America remains engaged on the world stage and that we exhibit that type of leadership in order to secure our own national defense. Would you also believe that, General Cavoli?
I do agree with that, and I see it every day that our allies crave our leadership and are stronger with it, and they're stronger for us.
Thank you. And General Langley, I shared a quote with you yesterday. It is, an American soldier is a hero standing still. And I looked it up. It is General Patton that gave us that quote. Can you talk, because you mentioned something about the convening, really the convening ability of our United States military. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes, Senator. You know, as the Chinese Communist Party and even the Russian Federation are trying to encroach upon what we do as far as influence and cooperation with our African partners, they pale in comparison. You know, as evidenced by what we do in our conferences that we hold, or moreover, the exercises we have, whether it's Obigami Express. All those countries, a number of countries in the 40 plus, are always wanting to be part of it. Same thing as far as our Express series, and we get our maritime members because of the illicit activities that China is doing in IUU fishing. All those qualities and shared objectives gives us a convening power and influence on the African continent. There's no better type partner that the Africans can have in the United States.
No, thank you for that. And I remember a story that was shared with me a number of years ago by a special operator that was in charge of a small tactical unit. And they were brought into that situation because there were many warring factions in this particular area. The French were there, a few other nations were there as well, but none of them could get along, and they couldn't come together in a cohesive, collaborative engagement. It took the Americans coming into that situation and providing leadership and guidance. And when that happened, all of those different factions were able to come together. So talking about Americans being a convening authority, I think is exceptional. It is true. So again, I will just stress how important I think it is that the United States remain engaged on the world stage and provide that leadership. We don't have to provide all the boots on the ground, but certainly I think American leadership is valuable. General Cavoli, I'll go back to you. In reference to the war in Ukraine and Russia, again, another story that I will share with you. When I deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom as a transportation company commander, we occupied a base in Kuwait. We ran convoys through Kuwait and southern Iraq. On this subcamp in Kuwait, half was occupied by Americans. Can you imagine who would occupy the other half of that camp? You don't have to know this. The other half of the camp was occupied by Ukrainian soldiers. Why were the Ukrainians there? They were not part of NATO, correct? Can you guess why they were there?
Probably because we asked them to be there and they responded positively because of our leadership position in the world.
Absolutely. And I share that story because so many people don't realize that the Ukrainians were there for us when we needed them. Those men, it was all men actually, the Ukrainian men that were there, their soldiers, they were route clearing engineers. I was a transportation company commander. I am very grateful that the Ukrainians were there for us. I can't imagine how many American lives might have been saved by those Ukrainian soldiers. So again, I apologize for going over, but I just wanted to stress that we do not operate in a vacuum. No matter where we are, our country is safer because we exhibit leadership and we have the convening power to bring many nations together. And I thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do for our great nation in so many different ways. God bless you both. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And thank you very much.